I must admit, in my line of work, I come across a lot of rare and expensive cars. And today I have the pleasure of showing you guys this. This is a 2012 Maserati GranTurismo convertible sport. Now, for those of you who aren't too familiar with the Maserati brand, as myself, I kind of have to learn a little bit about it myself. Maserati has been in the United States for a while now. I believe they were founded by three brothers back in the 60s, and throughout their time here in the US, they did run into some trouble in terms of financial success with their older models, but they've been back on the market since since the early 2000s, I believe. The GranTurismo was one of their cars that helped bring them back. Now, the GranTurismo has actually been out since 2009 in the coupe form. The convertible form followed a year later. This particular 2012 model is a sport model, so it's actually new for 2012. It comes with upgraded suspension, upgraded brakes, an upgraded engine, about, I want to say 12 more horsepower than the standard engine. And this car, I gotta tell you, is quite the looker, as is any Italian car. Now, the Maserati brand name itself, as nice as it is to look at, is actually not quite as high up on the pedestal in terms of brand cachet as Ferrari, Lamborghini, Aston Martin. But I gotta tell you, this thing is still quite a menacing, sick-looking ride. And especially this particular one, with supercars like this, you basically build them to order. This particular one has those special black 20-inch wheels. You have these huge brake rotors that are drilled, vented, and you have, it looks like 6-piston Brembo calipers in the front. They may or may not be Brembo, I could be wrong about that. I love this combination with the black and the red brake caliper sticking out. The front end has the same menacing look with that huge grille, that trident shape emblem that the Maserati brand is known for, and just these sinister headlights. Now, if you can believe it, Maserati actually updated this car in 2013. The new model has LED running lights at the front, updated styling on the exterior and the interior, and an upgrade in horsepower. This particular one is a sport, and it makes 444 horsepower. I'll get into the engine in a moment. The upgraded 13 model actually makes 453. So, you know, with that much power, you think that it's enough, but with supercars, it's never enough. Now, this particular model, because it's convertible, weighs about 4,300 pounds, making it 200 pounds heavier than the coupe. So it is a relatively heavy car, and because it's a GranTurismo, you're essentially buying this because it's a touring car. It's a sport touring car. Don't expect it to be an all-right performance car like a Ferrari would be or a McLaren would be. What's interesting about the Maserati GranTurismo is it actually is not available with push-button start, even the new one. Here's the actual key for the vehicle. It's a switchblade key, and to access the car, you can actually, there's a little handle here, or it's a little button, kind of a button, where you just push it, and the door opens for you. Now, this particular one does have the custom red leather interior. I love it with the black. Great taste, or great combination choice. Whoever owned this car has impeccable taste. Now, because it's a supercar like this, when you step in, you do have to kind of duck, and you're almost sitting on the ground. The good thing is, it's not as low as some other supercars, so sitting in this car doesn't feel like you're totally on the ground. But anyways, there's the key again, so you have to stick the key in the ignition, because there's no push to start available. You can see here, there's the gauges, they come on. It has a very colorful information display in between the speedometer and the tachometer. Oh boy, that exhaust is just freaking sexy. When you shut the door, the windows are automatic up and down for every window. There's actually 4 window switches here because there's a half window in the back. This is a convertible. Now, the interior of this car, I must admit, I haven't had a chance to actually look at the other Maseratis, but as you expect, for 150 grand brand new, this thing has an impeccable interior. This particular one has the carbon fiber option. You're actually going to pay $3,500 for all the carbon fiber that's splashed throughout the vehicle. And you have this nice two-tone black with the red. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous interior. This navigation system is, I believe, an option. I don't expect it to be standard. And you know, the thing is with these supercars, don't expect the most elaborate tech unless you're going to be sitting in a Tesla, because to be honest, I'm not very pleased with the small buttons, especially this really tiny number pad right here. It's not a touchscreen. It is close enough to be a touchscreen, but it's not a touchscreen, but it's a little scrolly wheel here. And if you go to like your map information, or actually, hold on a second. And the one thing I'm noticing here is I don't believe it has a back button, so no, I don't want to go to that. So go back to menu here and go to map, or let's go to navigation guidance. All right, see, this is not exactly the most user-friendly orientation or interface, but again, I'm not really going to be buying this car to be using the navigation system, but it's nice that it gives you that. When you're going to the audio information, you kind of push source here. It brings up your audio information, which again, these buttons are very small, so when you're driving, it's going to be difficult to actually be able to kind of choose what you want, and for some reason it's now not coming out of this screen. I'll get back to that in a moment. Now, the interior here, you have soft touch, leather stitching on the dash here. It's all soft touch. Even the glove compartment here, up above here, is all soft touch. And basically everything in here, the material-wise, is nice and smooth. It feels high quality. It feels expensive. Same leather stitching on the door panel here, more carbon fiber and alloy door handle. And of course, leather stitching here where your elbows are going to rest, power mirrors. This particular one is missing one option that I wish it had. Actually, I don't even know if it's an option, but if you put it in reverse, there's no backup camera. 140 grand and you don't get a backup camera. Again, this is a supercar. I'm not really going to make fun of it that much, just because you buy this car because of the way the engine sounds and the kind of cachet that it represents. A 6-speed automatic is actually the only transmission choice. There's no manual available on this car. It's a Grand Touring car. It does give you the paddle shifters, which are mounted on the column. They actually are, I want to say they're metal, but they actually feel plastic. They're huge, so you're not going to lose track of them when you're driving. But this is actually a 6-speed conventional automatic. It's not a 6-speed dual clutch or anything like that. I'm surprised it only has 6 gears and stuff like that. The center console here is a decent size. You have cup holders here, so you do have some creature comforts. Nicely padded armrest here. The glove compartment is nicely damped. It's on the smaller side, but it's lined with the fuzzy stuff. You actually do get dual zone automatic climate control. You have an electronic parking brake here. This little mechanism here is to open the roof, which I showed you guys earlier. And in terms of the visibility in here, I'm not going to be able to drive this car, so I'm just going to have to kind of show you guys how it feels. You have a relatively thick pillar here and relatively small mirrors, and the car itself just has a big presence to it. It feels wide. It feels like you have like this huge tank that's kind of rolling down the road, which is, I'm assuming, how these supercars are supposed to feel in everyday life. And as I was saying before, here's the navigation screen. You can kind of zoom in and out with this little scrolly wheel. The graphics are surprisingly crisp for me, although when you kind of look at vehicles like the other luxury brands, the German ones like Audi, Mercedes, BMW, you do have a more elaborate screen. This particular one is, I don't want to call it childish, but don't expect it to be like the Google Earth map that Audi offers you. You can see here there are several other buttons here. There's an ice mode, I guess that's for snow. There's a sport mode, which makes the throttle even louder. And then, of course, there's your stability control off button, which you probably don't really want to do in this car. It's designed to be more of a boulevard cruiser, not a race car driver. Now, the GranTurismo is a 4-seater, so surprisingly, the seat will adjust out of the way when you're trying to get into the back, and it's actually a pretty surprising amount of space back here. I'll get back here to show you guys what I mean. When you pull the seat back, it kind of comes back toward you automatically, and you can see here in terms of the space, there are some decent comforts here. You have vents back here, you have more cup holders, you have a nice padded armrest here, you have a Bose premium audio system, more carbon fiber splashed here, and you can see here with the seat coming back, it is a little bit on the tighter side, but actually surprisingly, if you look at the Clash, like the Jag XKS, the Aston Martin V8 Vantage, this car actually has surprisingly a little bit more space than its main competitors. Now, because this is a Grand Touring car, you're probably wondering, how's the trunk capacity? Well, I have to admit, it's on the small side. This is smaller than the Class. This measures about 6 cubic feet of space. They had to store the top somewhere. The nice thing is the top doesn't actually intrude on the cargo area. This is what they leave you in terms of space. So pack lightly if you guys are going to be using this car on a trip, although you can utilize the back seats to store some of your golf bags or your boxes and stuff like that. If you look at the rest of the Class, I believe they give you about 10 cubic feet of space, so this one is on the small side for sure. Now, this is the most important part of a supercar like this. What the hell is going on under the engine bay? This long hood. Actually, the instrument panel says it's a bonnet, so typical Italian terms here. What you're looking at is a high-revving 4.7 liter hand-built V8. It makes 444 horsepower at about 7,000 or something RPM. The thing revs to 8,000 RPM. It's rear-wheel drive. It's paired with that 6-speed automatic. It runs on premium gas, and of course, gas mileage is not really important here, but you should know it's rated at 12 city, 19 highway on premium, of course. 0 to 60 times are about 5 seconds for the sport model, or about 5.2 for the non-sport model. Impressive numbers for sure. If you look at the competition, although the Jag and the Aston Martin is much quicker, but again, this car is not really designed for a drag racing. It's designed for boulevard cruising and style.